Slacker Blue.
Okay, sweet. So yeah, wait, Ricky, show us what you got here. Okay, we're with Ricky Do 85. You
That's
can find him
me.
on YouTube. We're with Slacker Blue, the FagC Discord server. We got Parsi in here. We got JC Reaper, and we have Jaded Bunny, our producer. So what's going on, Ricky? What's going on with you lately? I know we recently met, right? I think you were in one of the fish tank community adjacent servers, which was I believe it was Kale's server, the Reef, right? That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. That's
And you kind of met up with us. I think we met through Parsi, and we kind of just pulled you in here and kind of exposed you to the madness that is this server, uh, with the secret rooms and the re-education videos. What was your first impression when you came in here? Honestly, I want to know.
Well, first off, I just want to say jerky was probably the worst possible decision I could have picked to chew on while we're doing this because this is tough.
Okay. Also, you need your
Um,
protein, man.
Yeah. It also takes a minute. Okay. Leave it in. Fuck it. I don't know.
Do it live.
We're doing it live.
Yeah, so I don't know how I even got to the Reef. I think I was in a group chat on Twitter, X, and then from there, and it was Parsi that found me in the Reef. Well, I think Parsi and I first started DMing back and forth before he added me to FagC, to talk about the video that I did. It's called Fish Tank is Special, which was a
So I saw that video, by the way. I did see that one. It was on my YouTube feed, actually. Before I met you, I saw that video, so that was cool.
yeah. I've been doing a few YouTube videos for like the past year or so. I started doing YouTube, and it's really just been like talking about movies and shit that I want to talk about or whatever. And I decided to do a fish tank video because Jimmy, who is on season 2 of Fish Tank, is a personal friend of mine, like close friend. And we were talking one night, and I was like, "Yo, can I interview you for a video?" And he was like, "Sure." And I think from there I started reaching out to other fish, um, to be part of it, and it just kind of like snowballed into. I think I got 9 of them. But to answer your original question about first impressions of FagC, uh, I I'm a year and a half sober. I used to fuck
Here,
around heavy.
it's one thing we shared in common. That's what I mentioned. I'm also a little over a year sober, so congratulations, man, to you.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I mainly got sober specifically for stimulants like cocaine. Um,
Yeah.
but I was heavy in the hallucinogens, psychedelics, and my first impression of Fag C, I believe one of the very first things I saw was this video. I forget what it was called. Deprogramming or
It was the
reprogramming.
Re-education bot.
I think
re-education
that's what it
bot.
was.
So wait,
Yeah,
can I
so
intervene real quick? The point of that,
yes.
let me just say, the point of that re-education bot is we're experimenting with a new timeout system. It's kind of a joke, where instead of them being timed out, they're forced into what's called a re-education voice channel, where they're forced to essentially watch a video that kind of re-educates them with this kind of MK Ultra style video, which in the edited version of this, we'll actually put that up.
Without Fag C, there is no me. Without me, there is no Fag C. Fag C is the center of my creation. I create for Fag C.
For people to see. So, but go ahead.
Excellent. Well, it was that video met with just the sheer size of this server. Mind you, I'm not like Discord fluent. I do mod for a different server, but that's just because it's my buddy's thing. And that was in recent months, and that was my introduction to Discord. So I'm really unfamiliar with like the ins and outs of Discord as a medium, but just scrolling through FagC and looking at everything and every single person that's been on Fish Tank, combined with the video as mentioned earlier, I thought this was some like CIA shit. Like,
Yeah.
to be real with you, I was pretty frightened. Um, yeah. Also, I'd like to mention the Fish Tank video that I did. I was aware that people watched Fish Tank, obviously, but I had no idea the community that existed. You know, I was vaguely aware. You know, Jimmy's told me things about the Fish Tank community. I just thought it meant like people that watched the show. I didn't know there was actual like, you know,
Yeah.
cohesion
Integration.
within people.
In a lot of
So-
ways, the community is, in some ways, it's a little more fascinating than the actual Fish Tank show. I mean, like you, I'm pretty new to the whole Discord Fish Tank space myself. Similarly, I came here from X. Somebody from Twitter invited me to this server, and that was kind of my impression too. I mean, you have these FBI style, CAA style logos everywhere. There's like this federal feel to it, which is like intentional. It's just kind of like a, a parody of, that. But it definitely is like, it's kind of like shocking how involved some of these members of the community are, but it's fun. I remember, like, okay, I've been part of the server for about 3 months now, and when I first joined the server, I was so shocked at everything that I left. But I think a day or two later, I ended up coming back because I was like, you know what? As crazy as these people seem, I kind of see myself in them. I don't want to pretend to be better than them because it's like I feel like, okay, I am them in a lot of ways. So, fast forward to like about 3 months later, I'm here modding the place, and I think it was probably the best decision I made in terms of trying to build a following on YouTube, on Twitter, networking. So I think there's a lot of benefits to a place like this, and not just this server. I mean, Kale's server, the main server, and so on.
Yeah, it's definitely.
We are the
something.
main Fish Tank server. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is the new main.
That's what they're saying. I don't know.
You're saying that.
Maybe.
I like Fish Tank.
We're
I
glad to
didn't
have
watch
you,
season.
Stu.
Thank you,
Glad to
thank you
have
for
you.
having me. I didn't watch season 1 as it aired, but for a long time I've been a Sam Hyde fan. And
No, there's no mandatory pre-reading, as they say.
no. But in regards to Fish Tank, I watched season 2 as it aired because, like I said, I know Jimmy. So, and when Jimmy told me he was gonna be on Fish Tank, I thought it was a bit. I didn't believe him. But he said like, I'm going on now. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll watch. And there he was, and I was like, holy shit.
How did you meet Jimmy exactly? I know you guys were like, did you meet him like in real life? Did you play games with him? Like, how did that happen?
So Jimmy and I were acquainted in 2016. I was part of a Facebook group called the Republic of Kekistan. And there's a great photo of me and 7 other guys. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
I got invited to that group a while ago. A while ago.
This was the days of the Great Meme War. Is there a side chat in this channel?
Yeah, there's a side chat. I think you should have
It
access
won't
to
load
it.
for me. It won't
Okay.
load for me.
I'll have the invite.
I'll just
I
DM
don't
it to
know.
you, Slacker.
I'll go ahead and post. I have the Wikipedia article if that's the one you're posting, or you can DM it to me. I can put it in side chat.
Okay. Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Let me there real quick. Wait, what I'm reading though is, let's see, Kekistan, officially the Republic of Kekistan, is a country created by users of 4chan's poll board as the tongue-in-cheek ethnic origin of shitposters known as Kekistanis, who worship the ancient Egyptian deity Kek. Okay, so this is kind of what you were saying you were a part of.
Well, Kekistan was many things for many different people. For me, did that photo go through that I sent you?
It did, yeah. It's in our side chat.
Okay, that photo. Me and 7 other guys. Have you heard of the meme war? The Great Meme War.
2016. Yep, I was part of
Ricky, I
that.
was
2016.
I
What
participated.
exactly? Why was there
I
a meme war?
participated heavily in that.
Oh, there's
Well,
a Kek. Sorry.
Well, I'd like to point out that photo. I'm in the back, and that's Jimmy right in front of me. We were a group of guys that participated in this meme war. It was basically just an information warfare through means of meme magic, which really played into the Kekistan thing. To understand where I was at this point, I think we got to go back in time a little bit, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, of course. Wait, but just so I can get this clear, though, the meme war was essentially somewhat of a political war, but through the use of kind of memes. Is that that's what this meant?
Yeah,
Well, the meme war, Donald Trump and his presidential election changed everything for American politics. Many will argue against that, but that's just how I feel. Yes, he ran as a Republican in that election, but he had also run 2 times prior, one of which was for the Reform Party nomination. But that's irrelevant. The meme war refers to this power shift that occurred during that election because of Donald Trump's rise to prominence as a political figure. Let me sip on this a little more. This is
Yeah, go ahead.
cutting deep. I also have to activate my memory and shit. I have a bad
That's
memory.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. I'm drinking a white
Um,
monster right now, so.
So, information as we know it, or at least pre-Trump, because we now live in a post-Trump era. You have your Republican, you have your Democrat, you have the news, right? CNN and Fox News, left-leaning, right-leaning. It's all fed to you from this tube of this great machine that is operated by, let's just say, them. The meme war was a change to that. That's where information, like Twitter was huge at this point. Poll, 4chan. It really has a lot to do with the Kek thing. I'm going to need help with this because this is a wide range of factors.
I think what you're referring to, I think when this first started happening around 2016, 2017, like in the birth of Trump's, announcement in his presidency, I think the term was called mimetic warfare, kind of.
Mimetic warfare. Thank you.
Similar to propaganda,
Well, Kek first off. Let's talk about Kek. It all started when Donald Trump Jr. shared a meme of his father on Instagram of Trump as a Pepe Frog, and it said the deplorables, and it was kind of like the Expendables, like Sylvester Stallone in a poster of the Expendables. I hope you're looking this up as I'm talking. Like Jamie, pull that up, whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, so the use of Donald Trump as Pepe the Frog really started with that Instagram post from Donald Trump Jr. The reason being, I believe Hillary Clinton referred to Trump supporters as a basket of deplorables. This is going off memory from years ago. I don't know if that's accurate, but 4chan poll. So kek is a term also that's used on 4chan and sites that are similar as like an alternative for LOL. Like it's Korean for LOL. Very
Right.
popular, or at least it was in like World of Warcraft and shit like that. The 4chan people also found that Kek was an ancient Egyptian deity, frog deity. I believe it was primordial darkness and maniacal laughter. I'm paraphrasing, but I believe that was the terminology. And it was a frog, right? And then there was a bunch of like this other synchronicity, like the song Chatelet. Are you familiar with Chatelet?
I don't think so. What is that?
Yes, that was a huge part of it.
Chatelet was a song written in the 80s by an Italian synth band. Their name was Point Emerging, Probably Entering, but delivered as an acronym, PEPE, Pepe. The album was called Magic Sound, and it was a frog with a magic wand. That was just one of many other synchronicities that were to come of Pepe and being invoked to channel this this deity known as Kek. And a huge thing that really captivated me in that movement was that there was a dichotomy going on of chaos and order that was being explored through the Trump nomination candidacy, because you look at shit like Bohemian Grove, right? Where it's been the power structure for centuries, really. And they go to worship this owl. And that represents the order. That's how things have been. That's the elder god that they pray to. And then you have Kek, which is this group of 4chan people, your underdogs, outsiders, that are channeling chaos against the order.
And this is kind of the shit poster version of the owl in the Bohemian Grove thing. It's kind of like a response to that.
I wouldn't say it's a direct response to that. That's just the comparison that I personally made.
Okay.
The frog versus the owl.
That's a great comparison, by the way. I think, it's a great comparison.
Yeah. And thank you. And that whole thing, I'm a sucker for dichotomy. I'm a sucker for yin yang balance when things
Absolutely.
balance. And that was just a huge thing. And I met Jimmy through that movement, and Kekistan was a wide range of people. There were straight up Nazis. There were it was a spectrum. You rubbed, as a person that went through it, you rubbed shoulders with a lot of different people. But I was having the time of my life. That was like I look back on that time with great happiness.
I enjoyed the meme more. It was a good time.
It was purpose. It was divine purpose.
Did you ever find it ironic that like you guys were somewhat spreading the truth through these like comical style memes at the time? Like back then it seemed like you can get more truth out of these memes than you could the actual news.
Well, yeah, it was beautiful, really. It was a beautiful thing. Yeah, memetics. That was a magic word in itself. Memetics. What is a meme? How does a message, you have the Streisand effect, right? How a single message of any kind can reach the masses just by having a funny image on it,
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, right here we have
This
on the
year's
screen
streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, the study of memes, memetics. This is a memetics. sees as kind of a virus, sometimes propagating in spite of truth and logic. Its maxim is beliefs that survive aren't necessarily true, rules that survive aren't necessarily fair, and rituals that survive aren't necessarily necessary.
There's all. I would also pull up the Keck hieroglyph. I have a statue in my car with the Keck hieroglyph with the Keck statue on it.
Golden frog.
Hiero. Yeah, that bottom left one right there.
Oh wow.
That's the statue I have in my car. I've had that.
I have one just
you know,
like
the
that, but
crazy
it's like
thing-
gold.
Very nice. But I often think about the Keck thing could be a psyop. We don't know that this was indeed what was going on in ancient Egypt, but it could be real. It might not be real. That's not important to me. What was real was my experience in that time and the experience of everybody else that shared that moment in history. And it was an important time for me.
And explain the warfare between like the War of Kekistan. Like, what were you guys fighting over? Was it you against other memers, or was it you against kind of the mainstream media and what they were pushing? Like, could you explain a little bit more about that?
Can I go back in time first to just
Oh,
set
yeah.
the stage for that?
Of course, yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. Throw me in.
All right. I believe I sent you the picture earlier of me with my face all bloodied. I don't know if I sent that to you.
I think you did, but I think that may have been. Let me see if I can send it. I think that was like a.
I can resend it.
Yeah, if you can resend it, so I can just on here. I think you initially sent it to me on Instagram.
Shit. Because that's like the moment, you know? That was the moment.
That's when you were in front of Comet Pizza. Am I correct?
That's not the picture I'm talking about.
Oh, it's not the one. Okay, never mind.
Apologies. Dead
Oh,
air.
you're fine. Don't worry about that. Like I said, we're not live, so it's totally okay. Oh man, oh my god, I just saw it. This is the one you had on X, right? Yeah, here it is.
Yeah. I
I'll
just
put this
DM'd
in
it
side
also.
chat. Okay.
I still can't access side chat. It just tells me messages failed to load.
I think it's just like a staff member thing, but I went ahead and put it in side chat.
Okay.
Bunny, if you can stream this, I'm hoping you can see this. So the audience could take a look at the what happened here. Oh my god, I forgot how crazy this was. Here we go.
Yeah,
Got it
so
up
this
right
was
there. You got scrapes
August-
on your head. It looks like
Yeah.
your whole upper lip, kind of under the nose, needed to be stitched.
Mhm.
Holy
It
crap!
was-
What
it was
happened?
dangling. So August 29th, 2016. It was a Sunday, I believe. I was here at this very college where I'm sitting right now, and it was the day before I was supposed to start my junior year. And I was outside smoking a cigarette, minding my own biz, and then all of a sudden, I wake up on the ground on the concrete, completely bloodied. And then an ambulance comes. I don't know what the fuck's going on. That's when they took that picture. They apparently sewed my lip back on. What happened was I had a seizure, like Family Guy fall, you know, where you're standing and then you're just like 90-degree
wow.
fall.
Okay.
Yeah. So I also have a picture of my brain that goes with that.
DM that to me. We'll put it up.
Okay.
Do you normally have seizures?
Never in my
It's like-
life.
Never in your lives. This is like the first time. What do you think
First and
induced this
last.
seizure? What happened with this seizure? Why do you think it happened?
Let me send that. to you.
He's gonna DM it to me real quick. It's gonna be a picture of his brain. I'll put it in side chat, buddy.
Okay. You get it?
Yeah, it's just posted in side chat right there.
Okay. So what happened was, I had a seizure, and when they checked me for a concussion, they found that I had a brain condition called hydrocephalus, which is usually found in babies. It's like 99.8% of the time. That's a figure I just pulled out of my ass. I don't know if that's the exact, but it's typically found in babies, because you're born with it, and for some reason it was not found with me, and they found it with the seizure. That's when that scan took place. Basically, that white spot that's in the middle, that's supposed to be a lot smaller.
That's the first
so
thing I noticed from this. There's that big white
Yeah.
spot.
the brain is around that white spot. So what was
Mhm.
happening was, that's called the ventricle, the white thing. If you look up brain ventricle, that's what that is. And it processes cerebrospinal fluid. And my ventricle was clogged, so it was filling with CSF, I believe is the official acronym for that, spinal fluid, and it just, I guess, reached critical mass, and I had a seizure. And I believe that it was brought on from abuse of LSD. That's not something doctors will tell you because that's not their specialty. But I was tripping a lot of acid at this point in my life. And I understand that there's a relationship between LSD and spinal fluid. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but that's just like my understanding.
How much LSD
But,
were you doing at this time? Like ballpark daily? Like what was going on?
Sometimes daily.
Yeah.
I was like pushing my boundaries, like seeing what would happen if X, you know. It wasn't just acid, it was other shit, but acid's the one that uh that I think of because that's the one that interacts with spine fluid. Um but up until this point in my life, I had lived a relatively normal life in terms of like politics and shit. Like I've
Mhm.
never been interested in politics or power structure or the way the world works, you know. I was a Bernie bro up until this point, but really that was just a social lubricant.
I think
Yeah,
all of us kind of started as like Bernie Bros, or all of us kind of started in some ways just liberal.
I'm
I
not
think-
political.
Yeah, well, I was outwardly Bernie bro because I liked sex, you know.
Yeah,
And that's
same.
how that worked.
That'll get you laid
And,
in college for sure.
Exactly.
Majority of women are liberal. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and like my understanding of politics, at least earlier in my childhood, you know, it was very like Super Bowl, you know, red versus blue. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
nobody
Especially
gives a
around
fuck about.
it's around like 2016. You want to say like is that kind of the time frame like you were speaking of, like around 2015?
No, I'm
2016?
speaking like Obama McCain.
Okay, so like 2012 ish, 2013 ish, kind
That
of.
was '08. That was '08.
Oh wait,
That was
sorry.
that was the first election that I really remember like taking note of. Like
Okay,
nobody really like I got the feeling that because it always bothered me because my family, uh, extended family, direct family, they're very liberal. They're very vote blue no matter who. And I started to take notice every 4 years, you know, their relationships with people we knew would be strained because they voted red and not blue. So I always thought that that was kind of like weird, but
Wow.
I never really thought more beyond that. But come 2015, you know, when Bernie starts running, you know, I'm like, okay, word, you know, Bernie's cool. But when when the primaries happened and Bernie was lost to Hillary, it was very apparent that there was some monkey business going on because, I've been around at that point. I've never met a Hillary fanatic. College campuses are Bernie town. Like something seemed
Absolutely.
off to me.
I remember that like it was yesterday. Everybody was going for Bernie, and I think when he lost to Hillary, I think there was it appeared that his own party kind of turned on him. Is that how? Am I correct in that? I think it was something about his own party kind of turning on him during the primaries or something like that. It's kind of what I remember.
That happened, but he also very quickly bent the knee.
I see.
He didn't say, "Oh, this is dirty barnacles, fight back." No, he was very quick to be like, "Okay, guys, go support Hillary now." You know what I mean? So that felt off. And then I didn't really take notice of Trump until after my brain thing happened. Because what happened was I had brain surgery, and that was wild. That was a very quick turnaround. Also, one day I'm in school getting ready for, school, and then all of a sudden I'm in the hospital, and then within the week I'm back home recovering from brain surgery, having to drop out from school because of this. So I had a lot of time on my hands, and I also had this sense of my whole life had been somewhat of a lie because I've been treated for mental shit earlier in life at that time, depression, whatever. And having known now that I had this condition that was not formerly known, I'd been a life of psychotropic medications that weren't supposed to be taken. You know what I mean? So
This was the injury kind of happened while you were in college, right? Just so I get like an accurate timeline.
it was the Sunday before classes began for my junior year.
Okay, so this is around, you said like 2015 or 2016, was it?
August 29th, 2016.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So I remember being back at home, recovering from brain surgery, playing Uncharted 4 on the PS4. I had just had a life-altering experience. Not necessarily life-altering in the sense that, shit's going to be different now, but shit's different than it was because now I have this knowledge of what had affected me my entire life up until that point. And I didn't even know that there was something responsible for that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even know I had this thing. So that, and then the Podesta emails were dropped. That was in October of 2016.
Let's see, let me just.
And that was the door that opened to, I guess you'd call it radicalization. I don't want to say like I was radicalized in that moment because it's not really like how it felt. It was more like, oh shit, what else is going on that I wasn't aware of my entire life? You know what I mean?
And so this was when you had a lot of time on your hands and you kind of went down the rabbit hole, and it all started with the Podesta email scandal.
Correct. That
Okay.
opened the door to like Epstein. Like I found all this shit. Mind you, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a household name for another few years.
No, it
So
wasn't at
people didn't-
all.
Yeah, people didn't know this shit. So like I was sitting on this knowledge. Mind you, again, my family vote blue no matter who. If I tried to talk to them about it, they'd be like, "Oh, you got brain damage and now you're becoming crazy."
Exactly. They would just brush it off. I remember clearly. I remember telling people about this, and I would get accused of being crazy or a conspiracy theorist just for looking into things that should be looked into. I mean, this was a huge story. The mainstream
It
media
was.
tried very hard, from what I remember, to discredit every single thing that came out about these emails.
it really opened the door to a whole iceberg that I was not aware of. And the timing of it, learning about all this right after this brain thing happened, really gave me a sense of like divine intervention. Like I was supposed to learn this at this moment because this is when I learned about my health shit. You know what I mean? So I felt very much that God was at play. And mind you, I was never religious up until this point. My family's Jewish, and they're not even like religious Jews. You know, like I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ actually, but my parents who are actually, Jews, they don't believe in God. My cousins, they don't believe in they might say they do, but they not really. No. But this whole thing was yeah. And that's being told repeatedly that I've lost my mind because of brain trauma really kept pushing me further and further down this sense of fringe, this sense of maybe I have lost my mind. Maybe this isn't real. 3 or 4 therapists telling me that I'm losing my sense of reality because of this brain thing. Like, mind you, my brain was not injured in such a way that affected my thinking, my critical thinking. If anything, it was alleviated from the surgery. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have brain damage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think, you looking into something because it sounds fishy or it doesn't seem quite right, that is critical thinking. That is thinking independently. No one should be ashamed of it. And there's nothing wrong with being uncertain about something. A lot of the times when you're uncertain, it's uncomfortable, right? People don't like to be uncertain. So when you go down these rabbit holes, you feel crazy sometimes, but it's okay because, the truth is more of a journey. However you get there, is up to you. I mean, it depends on what you're looking at, but that's typically how it is when you're uncertain with something. You feel a little crazy sometimes. I think like when you start to feel a little crazy, I think that's probably how you know you're not. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's just how it is usually when you go down these rabbit holes. I think that's how you get closer and closer to the truth, no matter what you're looking at.
Oh, I'm sorry, Slacker. I didn't mean to cut you off.
What were you going to say, Rachel? Go ahead.
Great point Slacker made there. And, Ricky, it's not that I want to, go shallow and say, oh, I totally relate to what you're saying. I'm not going to go into how I relate, obviously, but you're not, I know you don't think you're probably alone in what you think. This is how this starts. The notion of radicalization is not, the same word anymore, right? It's just not the same word. I'm sure you could say firsthand. And I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to say, well, you're not crazy. It's just like, dude, just keep digging. Like, just, if you find a hot lead, follow the hot lead. I think that's awesome.
Well, I don't feel, alone or anything like that today. I'm just trying to like paint the picture of where I was at the time.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
I had friends, I had cousins that I talked to, all of which jumped ship because, I had a brain thing and lost my mind. That was the narrative that I kept seeing with people. And it was nuts. It was nuts. And I kept thinking, like, someday in the future, everybody will know about this and I'll be vindicated. But even if that happened, it might have happened. I never got that satisfaction. Nor do I want it, really. It was just this, and I'm not trying to like pity party myself or anything, but it was an isolating time. And but I made friends like Jimmy. Jimmy is like one of my best friends because he and I don't want to speak on his experience, but he went through a very similar thing with because I met him right after he got out of the Utah stuff, which I'm not
What's
going
the
to speak
Utah
on.
stuff? Oh, okay,
I-
never mind.
Yeah, I don't want to speak on that. He's publicly spoken about it before, but that's his story to tell. But
Okay, that's fine.
like my brain thing, his Utah thing, like they happened at similar points, and that's when we came together. He's like I said, he's like one of my best friends because we've kept in touch since. But I don't want to like continue like talk because I could just walk you through like chronologically my life from that point. But I know you might have questions and I want to like
Well, I kind of want to get into. I kind of want to dive deep into. I know we talked about your family's reaction to you digging in, but what exactly did you find the most intriguing about the Podesta emails? Because I really did want to get into what you thought was intriguing. I know the Podesta emails are very much linked to the Pizzagate conspiracy, and I know ever since then we've had several stories. Diddy Party, the Epstein Island, things that implicate people in power, mainly people who are in the entertainment industry, being linked to some kind of, I mean, frankly, I'll just put it this way, what it seems like a pedophile ring or something of the sort, or a sex cult, something along those lines, and not just movie stars, but people in political power, people in office, what you might refer to as the deep state. So, I mean, let's start with the Podesta emails. What exactly were your findings? I mean, I know a lot of people kind of found the same thing. Oh, and we can also get into the QAnon stuff, that as well.
Okay. What was? I'm sorry. What was the initial question?
Basically, we
That's a
should
very
start from
wide.
the Podesta emails. Let's start from there, I guess, and we'll get into how that relates to Pizzagate.
Okay, so I wasn't like browsing WikiLeaks like leisurely. Like I had a friend who was like, "You should check this out. Some shit's going on here." And this friend of mine was at this point a Trump like fan, and I wasn't necessarily anti-Trump or anything. I just really didn't give a shit, and I had nothing but time at this point, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll read into this." And the Podesta emails, the biggest one that comes to mind is, and again, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but flying out $65,000 worth of hot dogs for a private party at the White House, or
It's clearly cryptic code for something, right?
yeah, and stuff like that initially didn't grab me. It was more so the like the Podesta Madeline McCann shit. That it was when they started stacking on top of each other. I do believe in coincidence. However, I believe that the odds that something are a coincidence exponentially shrink when they begin to stack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah.
there's a great GIF, not a GIF, an image. I'll send it to you if I can find it.
Repetition as well.
I'll put all these in side chat. I'll make sure Bunny puts them up. I think he stepped away just for a second, but we'll make sure to put them on the stream. Especially the one with you in front of the Comet Pizza place. I like that one.
Oh shit! Don't. No, I don't want that one.
Oh,
That has a-
not this picture that you just sent?
No, delete that. I deleted that one because it had a notification I didn't want on there.
I saw that. Yeah, we'll keep it. Okay, here we go. Copy this one. Okay.
You're editing this, right? This is all.
Oh yeah, this will
Just
be edited.
be
This isn't live. This will be edited. But this
Okay.
is so what you're showing me is Thursday, May 3rd, 2007. Madeline disappears from Ocean Club Resort in the Algrave village of Praia de Luz. Reports police know who kidnapped Madeline McCann, but can't arrest them. And so let's see. This is the $1 million mansion belonging to Clement Freud that sits only 1/3 of a mile from where Madeline was abducted. Police in Suffolk have confirmed the now known pedophile Clement Freud was out of country when Madeline was abducted. However, his home has been loaned to friends of his, John and Tony Podesta. And so what it looks like is they're trying to make a connection between Podesta and this abducted child.
Mm.
And this is way before the emails got leaked. It looks like this is 2007. Wow.
I made a video comparing, there was a voice comparison of John Podesta to a man in a video that was shared amongst like people that believed in this stuff. It was called Fatherhood. I don't wish to listen to it again, but it was called Fatherhood. And I made a video called John Says Thank You. And it went semi-viral on YouTube. It was used in a few articles. I've since deleted it because I got paranoid.
Okay.
I'm trying to find it. Oh, I found it. It was re-uploaded. Wonderful.
Is this on your YouTube account? Can we say the YouTube name that you go under?
Yeah, Ricky Do 85. That's me.
Ricky Do 85. Sweet. And it's on your channel right now. I don't think I saw that one.
No. I deleted it a long time ago. But somebody re-uploaded it, and I will send it to you right now. This is my video I made. It was on Ricky Do 85, but I deleted it.
Okay, I'll be sure to put these.
I don't want to listen to it if that's what's happening right now, but
No, that's fine. We're not gonna. What I'll do is we'll probably clip this in. How? Let's see. Let me just look at how long this video is for a second.
it's 1:12.
Okay, perfect. We'll probably put that in the edited version so the viewers can check it out for context. What about this video is significant to this? What was her name?
I made this video. This is my video. So I was like pretty into, I think this is when I was into Kekistan, like pro-Trump shit. And I think Roger Stone probably tweeted a picture of a piece of pizza with zero context that was kind of like a dog whistle to the Pizzagate story. And I remember I found through that circle something called World Corpo, which was a host of a lot of videos and things. I think it's been deemed an ARG in recent years, but one of the videos that was on there was called Fatherhood, which is voice compared in that video I sent you. I believed it to be John Podesta. I still believe it to be John Podesta. I am not suicidal. I just got to throw that out there.
Okay. You think that the voice that was narrating the video? I mean, what do you mean by that?
Oh, is there narration in that video?
Not the one you posted, but the Fatherhood video. Is that you're saying that the voice in that video might be John Podesta? That's what you're getting at?
Yeah, let me. You know what? I'm gonna watch that video because I don't even know what I sent you. I looked at it and it looks like the video I made. I'm scrubbing through it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. That audio when it goes black is from a video called Fatherhood.
Okay, and so the video, you're comparing a Fatherhood video and the speech in this 1 minute video, right? I haven't watched it yet. Okay, perfect.
It cuts back and forth. There was a visual element to the Fatherhood video, but I cut it out for this comparison because, I mean, I'm sure if you look up Fatherhood Podesta, you can find the original video.
What is the Fatherhood video about exactly? What is that? What is it about? I mean,
It's like a 40-second, maybe 30-second video. You don't see
Okay.
anything, but you hear children screaming and a man screaming at them.
Oh.
Very like dark shit.
Really?
don't know
And was this a
what's going
video that
on
was
in it.
leaked? Was this a leaked video
Yeah.
that was made? Okay, and it was leaked on WikiLeaks, I'm guessing?
I don't know where it came from.
Interesting. Okay.
I know that I saw it on, I want to say Twitter. Well, I saw it on World Corpo. I think I found World Corpo on Twitter. I'm not sure. But it was originally uploaded to World Corpo along with a different video of the same voice antagonizing children also. Some Let me pull that up also. Each Day I Grow Some More, I believe it was called. Because it's the theme from Caillou. Apologies, I'm looking up.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. That's totally fine.
It's gotta be.
So just a quick recap, though, while you're looking that up. We talked about the Podesta email leak in 2016.
Okay,
that
wait.
maybe caused-
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Sorry. This is the fatherhood video. Ironically, there's no audio to it, but it pairs with the
Okay.
audio
Okay.
in that voice comparison.
This is the original. Oh, wow. Do you want us to play? You know what? Why don't I have this? Is only a minute long video. Bunny,
Ignore
inside
that.
chat.
This is
Oh,
the
okay.
real one. This one has audio.
Do you want us to play? Do you want us to play the link that I just posted? It was the each day I grow some more. You want us to play that one?
Sure. I don't have access to the side chat.
Okay. Just the one that you just direct messaged me. Hold on a second. Oh, sorry. The Fatherhood Part 2. That's the one you want us to play?
Sure.
Okay. Well, because I'm just trying to figure out like which better for context. Because I can play the John Says Thank You video, I can play the Each Day I Grow Some More video, or I can play the World Corp Fatherhood Part 2 video. Whichever you think is best, we can just play it.
I just watched through that Fatherhood Part 2 video. I have not seen that before. That is some dark shit. It's not what I was looking for, but that is more of the same.
Okay. Why don't we just play, because you actually compare the two in the YouTube video, the John Says Thank You, so why don't we just play that one? Bunny, do you think we could play the YouTube one, the John Says Thank You vid on stream? Let's pull that one up, because I kind of want to hear the voices and I want to see how they compare.
I'm gonna get fucking killed over this shit, man.
Dude, you're telling me. I don't want to die. I'm not suicidal either, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
That your voices,
I'd also like to say for public record that I am not
enthusiasm
suicidal either.
means so much to her and to Tim and to all of us.
Okay, we're playing the video right now.
We are so proud of you.
You think you're hot shit, don't you?
And we are so proud of her.
I am your father. From now on, you will call me your father. Shut up!
She's done an amazing job, and she is not done yet.
What's my name?
So thank you for being with her.
You will call me your father.
She has always been with you.
What's my name?
I have to say this tonight. Good night. We will be back. We'll have more to say.
My other name. What do you call me?
Let's get those votes counted, and let's bring this home. Thank you so much for all of you have done. You are in all of our hearts. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was very disturbing, dude. And honestly, holy crap. They sounded exactly the same.
Yeah.
That is very
Um,
scary.
The last thing I just sent you was a Huffington Post article written in 2008 where John Podesta talks about his evil twin Skippy.
Whoa.
Uh, 2008. Anyone who has worked for Podesta in the past decade knows Skippy, who first appeared during Podesta's eventful years as chief of staff in the Clinton White House. As the scandal rocked at the end of that presidency, staffers knew they had better come prepared to meetings. Otherwise, nurturing mentor John would be replaced by Skippy, Podesta's quick-tempered, edgy, and sarcastic alter ego. I'm half
That's-
Greek and half Italian, and you would expect that I would have a hot temper. You can read the article, but that's where a lot of that comes from. Again, I don't want this interview or whatever this is to be like a Pizzagate red pill session.
No, not at all. I mean, this is just, we're just talking about, conspiracies or whatever you want to call them. I mean, it's fine. It's not
Yeah.
meant to. But that is pretty interesting stuff. I mean, the voices they've sounded a lot alike, dude. I'm not saying that is John Podesta, but Jesus Christ, it sounded exactly like him.
Mhm.
That with the emails, and then you have this girl who disappeared. That's just crazy stuff,
There's a lot of weird shit, and there's also that photo of him with the 14 fish, which implicates him in occult activity. Also, Andrew Breitbart and his tweet. Of course, he ended up dying of mysterious circumstances at a young age.
This is what he said. How prog guru John Podesta isn't a household name as world-class underage sex slave op cover-upper defending unspeakable dregs escapes me. Whoa. And he was later found dead? That's
Yeah,
insane. And this is Breitbart is he affiliated with Breitbart News?
that's it.
This is-
Yeah, he is Breitbart.
Oh, wow. For him to
I
do
don't
something
agree
like-
with. I'm not a fan of Breitbart, the organization, but I really do like Andrew Breitbart, the man.
Okay.
He had some interesting ideas, and he also has that video where he calls out John Podesta. Let's see if I can find that.
And so it seems like a lot of people are speaking out against Podesta being some kind of, I don't know, I don't want to, let's see, some kind of pedophile, it seems like. I mean, to put it simply.
It's very odd. It's very odd.
I mean, and you have the emails of what seems like they're talking in code. What did they say? The hot dogs? Was that it?
Hot dogs. We found a handkerchief that seems to have a pizza-related map.
Okay.
Shit
What
like
do you think
that.
that-
Like, what the fuck?
What do you think that map was about? Do you think that map was maybe some kind of
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't care to know.
I mean,
But
it's a little scary, dude. Not gonna lie, especially when it's not only people in forums talking about it, but you have high profile people like Andrew Breitbart talking about it. Not only that, you have people like Kanye West talking about this shit. I mean, at this point, well, a lot of people are coming out and talking about it. I mean, this has been mentioned on multiple other podcasts. So
I don't want to
something has
spend too much time on it.
That's fine. That's fine.
But this was, my turning point. All this shit.
Okay. So we got the Podesta emails. And could we get into a little more about how this relates to Pizzagate, which is kind of, very much linked to the Podesta emails, but I don't know if you wanted to touch on that a little bit.
Well, Pizzagate, I believe, was the media's fix job to get people to stop talking about this.
Okay.
There was a restaurant, or there is a restaurant in Washington, D.C. called Comet Ping Pong, because James Alefantis, the owner of this pizzeria, was implicated in these emails and through other shit found through the emails. So people made that link. And if you watch like Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel all had bits talking about Pizzagate, you know, alt-right fever dream. They believe that there's a basement in this pizzeria. Just like, you know, just trying to like mock the idea that
So
something like this
Pizzagate
could
was
be
kind
going
of like
on.
a psyop to kind of distract people from what may be true.
I believe
was this
so,
whole-
yeah.
Yeah, just
And there
to
was
kind
also
of,
a shooting of at that pizzeria. There was a man, something Welch. Edgar Welch. There was a man named Edgar Welch who, by the way, was just killed this year, I believe, at a police stop, traffic stop. But yeah, this man walked into Comet Ping Pong with an AR, fired one shot that occupants said entered the floor, but somehow miraculously the bullet hit a computer hard drive in the back. That's fishy. But yeah, and he was taken into custody, and nobody died, nobody was hit. It was just one single gunshot. And I just learned about this the other day. Because it just happened last month. Edgar Welch, gunman killed by police after traffic stop. And this Pizzagate shooting, by the way, was in 2016, right? Like as this was popping off.
okay. Yeah, I don't mean to sound crazy, but it seems like a cover up to me. It seems like a cover up. It seems like some kind of distraction. I mean, think about it. If you yourself were trying to cover up something similar, wouldn't you make up a story that mirrored what you were trying to cover up, and then discredit it all at once?
I just
Kind of
want to
obscure way
reiterate
to cover-
that I spent a lot of time in this world obsessed with this kind of thing. And I am not as into it as I used to be. You know, I went to rehab a year and a half ago, started doing YouTube shit. I'm trying to be productive as a member of society. And I spent, you know, this period of time, Pizzagate into QAnon, just trying to put a dent in society by means of memes or whatever. But that's not who I want to be anymore, because the lesson I learned from that is if you fight the hand that feeds you, you will lose. You know what I mean? There is no movement that can, you know, I was so gung-ho about Donald Trump because I believed that there was this belief, the Great Awakening. Everybody talked about a Great Awakening, where one day magically everybody would learn about, you know, the Satanists that run shit are evil, and we would all take note and change our ways. But you know what happened? People learned about Epstein and all these connections. Nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck.
Seems like nobody cares, right? Isn't that
Nobody
insane?
cares. And that's fine. Well, it's not fine, but I'm fine with that now.
Why do you think nobody cares? I mean, what do you think it is? You think everybody's just so distracted with consuming these? I mean, Instagram, you got TikTok, you got Facebook. I mean, what do you think it is? People are overloaded with media. Whether it be
Obfuscation.
TV. It's mostly social media, but yeah, obfuscation, of course. There's like a term.
I think
that's used.
obfuscation is a term or a factor. I also think demoralization is another term.
Yeah. There's a saying that's used in the security industry. It's called security through obfuscation. And I think that's like a technique that is used blending in lies with truth. making them seem unrecognizable when they're, or you can't differentiate them when they're so close together. Things like that. They're kind of muddying the waters. It seems like trivializing, which should be very important. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Could we move forward in the
Yeah.
topic at hand? Because
Of course.
this is a really dark thing, and
Yeah, that's fine, man.
you know,
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got something topic change. Did you just notice that Trump and Elon are going to audit the Pentagon again? You guys remember what happened last time? Last time that happened,
did a plane go down?
2 buildings went down, and a part of the
Oh
Pentagon.
shit!
Oh, shoot.
Yes.
Oh,
And now it's gonna. They just said that they're gonna audit the Pentagon again.
you know, I had an interesting talk with Willie Bonkers. I believe that's his name, Willie Bonker.
He's one of the Trump posters in chat. Yeah, Willie Bonker.
Yeah, I was talking to him one-on-one for a little bit, and I thought he was trolling me because he was talking about, you know, like, we're all gonna make it, Trump white pill, and I'm pretty fucking black pilled on the situation because I used to, you know, believe in it so vehemently.
Mhm.
Is that a word? Did I just make that up?
Yes, no, that's a word. Vehemently, sure, yeah, it's a word.
Okay. Yeah, and he's like telling me we're like shit's happening. He's doing shit. Trump's doing shit. And I was just so disenfranchised by the first go round. Not that Trump didn't do anything, but you know, my expectations were greater than reality. That we would see a perp walk of all these people and society would see them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That didn't happen. But my state of mind, you know, with what had happened with my brain and then the Epstein shit, I thought we were living in like I said earlier, a power shift, something grand in scale. Like, what are we going to see? And I was kind of let down by the lack of things that were seen. But who knows? Because he's back now. You know, there's a lot of mimetic synchronicity with Barron Trump.
There is. I've noticed a lot of content, including him in it.
The little Barron Trump's underground journey.
Yeah,
Those books.
you know, a lot of
Tesla,
people talk about. Oh yeah, Tesla as well. Yeah.
John Trump. You know, I don't know if you know about that. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
What's what is, I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the John Trump thing. What is that?
Okay, so 3 important people that were all key players in 1890s Manhattan. Ingersoll Lockwood, the author of the Barron Trump books. Nikola Tesla, renowned scientist, inventor. And John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, his father's brother.
Okay.
And this is going to sound like schizo babble, and I apologize, but you can look this up. This is all.
That's fine. No, go ahead. Yeah, I welcome that.
Nikola Tesla was researching time travel. I'm
Yeah,
not saying he cracked
studied
it.
that.
I'm not saying he cracked it. I'm not saying it's real, but that's what he was working on. And this is in his notes. You can look this up. And the government deemed him an illegal alien, and his assets, his research, were seized by MIT. And the man in charge of that seizure of his assets was a man named John Trump, Fred Trump's brother, Donald's uncle.
Okay.
And
Wow.
this happened just down the road from Ingersoll Lockwood writing books about Barron Trump being mentored by the Don and the last president, who was a millionaire billionaire by today's standards, sitting atop his ivory tower, Trump Tower. Just weird synchronicities. And so I have OCD, right? And the reason I have OCD is because of the amount of time that I had to keep reassuring myself that I wasn't losing my mind. Because being in the situation that I was in, having everybody in my circle telling me I'm going schizo, knowing damn well that I'm not, by noticing these things, you know, I had to keep reassuring myself, I'm not losing my mind. I'm not losing my mind. And I developed OCD from that just due to constant reassurance of myself. I hyperanalyze my surroundings, my thought processes. And the Barron Trump shit was just so out there, ridiculous. That's when I fell out of this scene, out of the interest, just because I was like, okay, this is actually lunacy. I'm out. But
At least you
I still think it's
recognize that.
interesting.
At least you recognize
Yeah.
that. But sometimes, yeah, you know, sometimes you go down so deep of a rabbit hole, you kind of want to believe it because of how much time you spent on it subconsciously.
Well, everything
and-
I just said was true.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, everything. Yeah, sure, of course. I'm just saying, like, you know, when you start to feel crazy, sometimes people. I'm not saying you do this particularly, but sometimes people will start to make connections that aren't quite there. Like they'll have a bunch of facts, right? Everything's true, but then they'll start to connect these facts that aren't necessarily. They don't actually connect, but you're putting these connections together. I've been guilty of it. You know what I mean? Going down too deep of a rabbit hole with certain things.
Well, everything
that's
that I just
what-
said about Lockwood and Tesla and Trump, if you took if you took a person completely removed from the media machine, just like a regular human mind, and said, look at these things, they will tell you there's a pattern there.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%, 100%, dude. I would agree with you.
Yeah. So, speaking on QAnon,
Yes, I wanted to get into that. I wasn't sure if you wanted to still talk about that because I know you kind of got.
we'll talk about it.
Okay,
So QAnon was this, I believe it to be a psyop. I don't believe it to be true today, but back then, given all the shit that we just discussed, the QAnon idea was not a huge leap. You know, that there's an insider within the Trump White House leaking to 4chan goings on about this draining of the swamp. You know, it was not a far jump at all. So I was pretty balls deep in that thing. I almost went to January 6th, and I didn't because I couldn't afford a plane ticket, but I knew that something was going to happen. You know, and it doesn't take a fucking wizard or genius to know that something was going to happen. Obviously, something was going to happen, but I wanted to be there, but I couldn't be there. But I'm glad I wasn't there because, you know. But QAnon, it was just more of like, for me, it was a gradual an appropriate progression from Kekistan. You know, Kekistan was an abstract, you know, shitposty, mimetic warfare thing. QAnon was the exact same thing, but it was more directed. It was more like we have an insider now. You know, like this is real, which is ironic because it was the only part that ended up not being real. But yeah, I think I sent you a photo collage of that picture I'm in that was all over the fucking media.
Yeah,
the
that
We
was
Are
crazy.
Q.
Could you send that? Do you have that? Could you send that again? I don't know. Let me check my. Let's see. Let's go. Oh, you know what? I have it right here. And I think you
Can you
circled
put-
yourself.
I did.
Yeah, could we put that up on the stream? Would you mind if we did that?
Please do. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Bunny, if you could, because you were very much involved with these protests, right? Bunny, if you
I
could
wouldn't
pull
say
up that
protest.
or not protests, but the demonstrations, or
Not
what
even
would you
this.
call it?
That photo was at a Trump rally.
Okay, okay.
The only rally I went to. I only went to one rally. But yeah, that photo is everywhere. And to confirm that that's me, you can see my tattoo.
Oh, that's
Right
right.
there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Bill Maher, fucking all the other shit. Yeah. My family loved that. They were so. That's sarcasm. They hated that shit.
I was gonna say, like, wait, what do you mean they loved it?
No. But I had, and I'm memeing here, but the power of God and anime on my side type shit. Because it was I felt righteous, you know. Hi, Ellie Dubs.
I mean, why wouldn't you though? I mean, you're there. It's something you believe in. I mean, you have the sign. I mean, of course you're gonna. You probably felt on top of the world with that. It was a big moment. It was a big moment for them. I remember.
With everything
I remember.
that happened to me, like with the brain thing and the timing and then the Trump presidency, everything just happening the way it did, I felt like I had great purpose in what I was doing.
Yeah.
Divine
Yeah.
purpose.
I mean, even though you see it as some kind. I mean, I know you think it was a psyop now, but I mean, do you regret being involved?
That's a
Anything you would
complicated
change?
question. I
I think everything happens for a reason. Honestly, I think there's some value to that moment. I don't think it was for nothing. Even though you may not believe in it anymore, I think there's value to applying yourself and standing up for what you believe in, even though you might think it's not true now, which is even better. A lot of people might not go back on their word, but it's important to it's important to look back and correct yourself. So not everybody is capable of doing that. Not everybody is capable of the self-reflection of saying, like, you know what, I think I was wrong, especially when it comes to QAnon stuff. A lot of these people still believe that's real. A lot of these people still think Q is a real person or whatever.
I like to say that I'm politically agnostic. You don't know for certain what goes on with these people. Things could be one way, but you could be wrong entirely about all of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't say for certain that you agree with a politician, because what they do is lie. And
We've all
that doesn't
heard the
mean.
quote.
What's the
But,
quote?
you only really know a person after you live with them.
And it's what's crazy is it's hard to believe that this was. It feels like it was yesterday, doesn't it?
Which?
The QAnon thing, the whole scandal. It feels like it was yesterday. It was just about 10 years ago almost.
Bro, my brain thing feels like it was yesterday. All of this happened.
Right?
in,
I
like,
mean, it's just hard to, it's. I remember it very clearly. It all started with an email from somebody who identified themselves as Q, and I think
It was
there
a
were a few
4chan
documentaries.
post.
It was a 4chan post, was it? Okay, yeah, that's how
Or
it started.
8chan, technically. 8chan,
Uh-oh.
if you want to be technical about it.
8chan, okay. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people took it very serious. Why do you think they took it so serious? Was it the way the post was made? I mean, didn't the person who wrote the post, didn't they have like certain information that led a lot of people to believe that it was in fact legit? Like, I think they knew certain things that only somebody on the inside could know. I think that's why people took it so seriously, right?
Well, I believe the Pizzagate shit, the Podesta email shit, was creating this bubble of people that believed that there was this greater thing going on that was not previously known. And I believe that those people that were finding each other and trying to articulate and discuss what they're discovering, just kind of the QAnon thing was like, okay, well, this is the natural unfolding of this thing that we've found, if that makes any sense. This
Hell yeah.
because like people are discovering, oh shit, the elite do some nasty shit. What's to be done of that? Okay, this is what's happening now because of that. You know, the way stories are told. If you're going to introduce an evildoer, naturally there's going to be an opposing force. So people are discovering this great evil. Who's going to fight it? You know what I mean? And that's who collectively was chosen.
Can you refresh my memory a little bit? What were the Q messages asserting? What were they saying exactly? I kind of forgot. I mean, I remember it happening.
Oh,
I just
man.
don't know what the overall message was. What were they saying?
Like patriots in
Q?
control,
Okay.
like cryptic shit like that. I couldn't tell you the logistics or why it gained a substantial following. I really don't remember. I'm sure there's countless documentaries about it. I'm gonna take another bite of that jerky.
Go ahead. How is that
That's a
jerky? Is
damn-
the hot Cheetos jerky?
Flaming hot, yeah.
Flaming hot.
It's tough.
Let's see. I'm gonna go into.
Am I doing good? Is this a good interview?
Yeah, you're doing great. Honestly, this is awesome. I think a lot of the things I wanted to talk about we talked about, and you know,
We haven't even touched on the cousin thing.
I know I want to get into that next. I know we can't like say any names,
I'll tell you the
But,
story.
but yeah, like your family, they weren't too happy about these rabbit holes you were going down, and I think a lot of them referred to you as our crazy cousin, or something like that. And I think you'd mentioned before this interview that you actually have family that is very much involved within the Democratic Party. Now, of course, we're not going to say any names, but
Not
we
even
could just
party, bro. Biden administration.
the Biden administration itself. So you actually have family,
Like high
literally
level.
in high-level government officials. Who are they? You know, like, or not? Who are they? You don't have to really go into depth on who they are, but talk to me a little bit about that.
So this journey for me started August 2016. At some point in 2017, right around when Kekistan was reaching its end, through the family grapevine, I hear that my cousin is dating this guy, this DC guy. I don't really think much of it at the time. Fast forward 2 years, they're getting married. This guy, as I said earlier, was a key player in the Biden administration, a key member in key moments throughout the Obama administration, through the Kamala campaign.
Mhm.
And can I show you a tattoo?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna tell a story about a different person, but it aligns with me in such a way
Okay.
that can you see?
Oh yes, I remember. Okay, I actually remember looking at this, the Joker tattoo.
Can you make it out?
Yeah, we can see. I can see it pretty good. Yeah.
Um, so I always wanted to get a Joker tattoo. That is not a Joker tattoo. That is a Gypsy Crusader tattoo. Um, but don't tell nobody. I mean, you can include it in there, but
Of
You know.
course.
people don't know. You know.
It looks like a Joker tattoo at first glance. What exactly is a Gypsy Crusader? What does that mean?
So there was this guy, Paul Miller. I'm sure you've seen clips of him. He dressed up as the Joker and went on Omegle.
Okay, I've seen him a few times. Yeah, yeah.
He had this story. The internet deemed him the real life Joker. He was a guy that wanted to go into political commentary. He did like relatively tame shit. Like he went to Facebook headquarters and filmed like asking why they're censoring Republicans, or like he ambushed interviewed some woman outside the Epstein estate in like 2017. You know, shit that's not like too extreme.
Hmm.
I don't want to tell his exact origin story because I'm probably going to get it wrong, but he ended up falling down a rabbit hole and becoming a victim of modern day politics, and he came out the other side the way he did in those Omegle clips, dressed as the Joker. He wasn't always that way, and he was, at least the story goes. It's very theatrical. A lot of it could be for show or whatever, but I got the tattoo as like a reminder of sorts not to lose myself in all this, because that seemed to be what happened with him.
Hmm.
And the Joker movie came out that October, and he was popping off online like around that time, and you know, I just really resonated. His thing resonated with me tenfold, and that's why I got the tattoo. Um, just as a reminder not to go down the Gypsy Crusader hole. Uh, yeah, and my cousin ended up marrying this guy that December also.
Okay, yeah.
So that was like my headspace at the time. Like, walls are closing in. That power structure that I fear so much is now encroaching on my family.
Oh man, that must have been rough. Did you ever meet this guy? You ever meet him?
Yeah. And
Did you
of
ever
course he
talk
knows me as the QAnon cousin, so like
Really? Okay.
it's awkward.
Are you guys cool? Like, is he a cool person at least? Like, what do you think of him?
Dude,
like,
I'm not
personal
cool with
level?
any of my family. I am
Oh.
a paranoid schizophrenic. Not actually,
even-
but like,
Well, even though you kind of admitted to kind of straying away from that, they're still not cool with you? I mean, what's going on with that? Like, why
I mean,
wouldn't
I'm
be
sure they
cool?
are. I'm sure they are, but just like it weighs on my mind is the thing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Like
why
I
wouldn't
don't know how shit is, and uh, I still believe in what I used to believe in terms of like how Washington works. You know, they control by means of blackmail, and he's a high level dude. You know, they probably have shit on him,
Absolutely.
and
I mean,
and he's shaking my hand at a family gathering. You know,
Yeah.
so I was about to lose my fucking shit, and I was in a really bad spot. I remember I tried to Baker Act myself that following February, I want to say 2020, and I said, "Listen, I'm kind of losing it a little bit. Probably a danger to myself and others," and they kind of shrugged it off and said, "You don't meet the criteria." So they turned me away. And I remember that day because I ended up going to Disney World, and I took a fuck ton of acid. And there's a video of me getting kicked out of Hall of Presidents in a MAGA hat, with my head shaved, tripping balls. I can probably find that video for you. But what ended up happening with that was, before I could fall too deep down the insanity well, COVID happened. And that kind of gave me the space to breathe. You know, because when shit is, you know, when you're losing a chess game, you know, the reaction is to wipe the board. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That
Yeah.
COVID was everybody's chess board got wiped, so everybody was on an even playing field. And I was able to breathe finally.
For a lot of people, COVID was actually kind of a new beginning. I hear a lot of people say that time kind of stopped during COVID, and people got a chance to reset. You know,
Yeah.
I certainly felt that way during COVID. Sometimes, I mean, it seems like COVID was just yesterday, too. You know, doesn't seem like it was that far away, but to think that it was about 6 years ago, it's just, or 5, 6 years ago, it's just nuts.
I just sent you a video. I don't know if it went through.
Was this when you were getting kicked out? Oh wow, you look a lot different in this one.
Yeah, that's me tripping balls in a MAGA hat at the Hall of Presidents.
Oh my gosh.
There was no audio because I was screen recording an Instagram live, and I don't know if they've changed it since then, but at least back then, if you screen recorded your own live stream, it didn't pick up audio. So I just threw SpongeBob music over it because it was just audioless.
Oh wow. And so this was what, like this was at Disneyland, you said, and this was at what year was this? Around 2017?
No, this is 2020, right before COVID.
Oh wow. Okay, I'm sorry, 2020. Jeez.
Yeah, my cousin had married this guy. They were now in my family.
Mm-hmm.
There was no hope. QAnon was a psyop. My trust in the plan had dissipated, and I was just kind of free floating. You know, I took a bunch of acid and went to Disney World for no purpose other than to.
Were you there alone? Did you just go alone to do that?
Yeah, all by myself.
You want us to play the
All by
video, Ricky?
myself. If you want to, if it's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
we'll play it.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll pull it up.
Is it up somewhere? I can't see anything.
I think Bunny's pulling it in the process of pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Were you kicked out of Disney World, the whole park, or?
So what happened was, I remember this. I got into it with the guy that was working at the Hall of Presidents because he was doing like, when you go to the Hall of Presidents, there's like a waiting room before the show, and there's like memorabilia, like this first lady wore this dress or something like that. And he was showing a group of people I believe it was something to do with Bill Clinton. And I, of course, was like, that guy's a child trafficker, blah, blah, blah. And of course, that escalated. And I was
So it
thrown
kind of
out
triggered
of.
you a little bit.
Huh? What happened?
It kind of triggered you a little bit.
Well, I wouldn't say it triggered me because I definitely went in with the intent to be a little rowdy, but that was my access point for that.
Right.
Yeah. Kicked out of Disney World. I was definitely kicked out of Hall of Presidents, but I left before any like security something.
I see.
I don't know. It was just fucking whatever. You know?
If you've ever gone to the best restaurant in an area, that's pretty much Disney World food. Maybe just a little bit
It's
better.
not,
Probably just overpriced junk, honestly.
yeah. We didn't even talk about Isaac Cappy.
Isaac Cappy, who's that?
Does anybody here know who Isaac Cappy is?
American actor. He was,
Yeah, he was.
known for roles in Thor, Terminator, Salvation, and Breaking Bad. Oh, wait a minute.
That guy.
Okay, I do remember him. Wow, he was in a very early episode of Breaking Bad.
I didn't know he was in Breaking Bad. That's news to me.
Yeah, he was actually, he played the role of a rowdy prisoner in episode 737. So this is in 2009. I believe this was season 2.
Yeah, 737 is season 2.
This is,
one of the
season
plane
2,
episodes.
episode 1. Yeah, wow, okay. What about Isaac Cappy? What's up with him?
I spoke with him a few times. That was during the QAnon shit because he was a QAnon guy. He believed in QAnon. He was a Hollywood actor who was friends with air quotes Seth Green, and was naming all these celebrities that he said were pedophiles. I believed him at the time. I might still believe him now, but that's beyond what matters. I don't know what to believe anymore. But yeah, he died suddenly. But before he died, he did one last video where he told the viewers that he fucked up and he was going to die. And I was in that stream. And I remember. And then he was dead the next day. Said to have thrown himself off a bridge. Yeah, that was some shit.
Holy shit.
That fucking
yeah,
sucked because I liked that guy.
It says right here, around the time of his death, a lengthy note was posted on his Instagram account in which he claimed to be the reincarnation of Judas Iscariot while opening up about his drug and alcohol abuse. He apologized to Jesus Christ, Donald Trump, and QAnon. The post was captioned, "Beware the man that has nothing to lose, for he has nothing to protect." So, I guess he was also pretty involved with the QAnon rabbit hole himself. And
Yeah.
I feel like, these so-called conspiracies gain a lot of credibility when you have people that are involved like that with Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I wasn't going to talk about this, but I feel like it's an important part of my lore, and having just thought about it, it does make a lot of sense to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about
Where are
it.
you on, man? Am I muted?
No, you're not.
Okay, I gotta fix that.
I don't know if I should. I want to talk about it, but it's like a serious thing. I'm not trying to trauma dump.
Yeah, we're not streaming, and then Ricky, you can we can give you the cut We can give you the uncut version. And if you want us to cut anything out or censor a big part of it, you can always give me like a timestamp in which we can censor something. So we can have you look at the raw edit before we even publish it. Which it could be a week or 2 weeks before we even put it out. You know what I mean? However long it takes. But if you want to talk about it, we definitely can do that. We can censor it, whatever you want. Or whatever you feel.
All right. So this is something I don't really talk about because it was like a trauma thing. But
Okay, yeah. Hey, if you don't want to, whatever you feel comfortable with. If it's like a trauma thing, then I don't want you to feel obligated. But if you feel like it's relevant, then
I feel like I should because for what this is or what I understand this is a big part of my lore.
Of course, and by all means, if you feel comfortable, then go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So in high school, 3 weeks before graduation, my best friend died in a murder suicide. And I just DM'd you an article. That was my buddy. And that was this was 2 years before my brain thing happened, and it was right as I was graduating high school. So I went into college kind of without purpose because of this, and it's probably the reason why I was doing so many drugs. And the circumstances were so, because I knew his dad very well. They were like a second family to me, and the whole thing was, I'm not saying I believe it to be a conspiracy. That's not what I'm saying at all, but just the way it happened and dealing with it really fucked me up as a human being. And I think that really changed. That was what really changed my outlook on the world and humanity. Because I was at that house like days prior to this happening. You know, you don't sense anything, or I didn't sense anything. People that also knew them didn't sense anything, and you know, sometimes shit just happens.
Can you give us kind of like a brief overview of what exactly occurred in the mansion?
His dad shot the family, then burnt the house down and shot himself.
Wow. You said you were there a couple of days before it happened. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary? Did any investigators contact you? No.
No, nothing.
What do you think happened, man? What do you think?
It's not my place to say.
Okay.
The reason why I wanted to bring it up is because that was like the first thing that happened in my life that like made me realize life isn't all peaches and gravy, or whatever the term is.
Something like that. It's got to be, it's got to be eye opening and changes your perspective on things. I mean.
Yeah, and he and I were so tight. Like I probably have a photo of the two of us. I'll share you.
Did any investigators contact you about this since you were there a couple days before?
No? Zero, and it was all over the news.
Wow, it's so weird that nobody would have contacted you.
They might have, if I'm being real with you. I don't think I wanted any part of it. They might have, they might not have. I couldn't tell you.
There's like do you mind if I read something from the report on the news? It says school baseball coach Nicholas Rodriguez said the father would scream at people one day and act as if everything were normal the next.
Yeah, I remember all of that. There was a bunch of bullshit.
Okay. You don't find that?
I mean, I don't want to say that his observations were invalid. I mean, that might have been the case, but nothing that would have pointed to something like this. Like there were also reports that Colin had autism or something like that. Complete bullshit. He was
Really?
super social. Everybody loved him.
You know, at the end of the day, when the story, they just want to have something for a juicy story. At the end of the day, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm very sorry that happened. You know, but I can only imagine, what that did to you in terms of, you know, altering your perspective on things. I mean, a family that looks completely normal, and all of a sudden this happens. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, you know, I'm really sorry that happened. You know,
Me too. You move
but
forward.
yeah, you know. So I kind of wanted to, um, in 2020, you showed us, or I think it was 2019, you're at Disneyland. Was it 2020 or 2019?
February or March 2020. It was right
So,
before
like,
COVID.
okay, so let's like from there to kind of now. What? Because I know you're sober, which congratulations on that. What kind
Thank
of
you.
led you to your sobriety? And let's go like full circle. So like where you are now from then. What happened?
Okay. So my sobriety story is pretty interesting. One of my teachers from high school had reached out to me on Instagram, just checking in to see how I was doing. Because you know, I wasn't just doing coke. I was really into like ketamine and shit. A lot of acid, a lot of shrooms. And I guess word got around. I was probably schizo posting on my social media. Probably, I don't, whatever. But he contacted me to check in, and I invited him over to my apartment that I had at the time, um, to just hang out. This was my high school English teacher, and we smoked some weed, you know, and we were hanging out. And he's a cool guy. I really like this guy.
That's pretty cool, by the way. That's really cool. Not everybody can do it with their English teacher.
Yeah, and we were vibing, and I offered him some coke because I had some coke, and he told me,
Okay, that's even cooler. That's kind
well,
of
no, because he had opened up to me that he was in recovery for that,
Oh,
and
okay. Never mind. Let's go back.
yeah,
Never mind.
yeah, and it was chill, it was fine, but that thought really fucked with me because I this guy that I had respected since high school and you know that I was just hanging out with, I held his life in my hands in that moment.
Absolutely. You
You know
know,
what I mean? Like
as
I
somebody
could have.
also who's wait, so I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, I was going
No,
to say, as somebody who knows, like, who's I've been a little over a year sober myself, so I know very much how that is. I mean,
yeah,
one moment of relapse can make all the difference. I mean, for some people like that, it's a life or death kind of thing.
yeah,
Sobriety is very, very serious, and you know, the second you relapse, I mean, it depends on the person really, but it could ruin their life. You know, so I can only imagine how
absolutely.
that felt. I can only imagine how that felt.
And he has 5 kids. He was going through a
Oh,
divorce.
yeah.
You
See,
know, um, I could have easily been like, "Nah, man, it's chill," and like that would have been it for him. I didn't, you know. Thankfully, that didn't happen. And that was the moment that made me realize like this addiction thing is not very cash money. Like I didn't really think about until that moment how destructive it could potentially be.
yeah.
So I checked myself in. I went to rehab. He ended up becoming my sponsor.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy, dude.
yeah,
That's an awesome story.
yeah. Thank you.
And so, right now, are you currently going through the steps? Is
No,
that what's going on with you?
absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Do you attend meetings every once in a while? I mean, what's going on with that? You don't have. I mean, the thing is, like with sobriety, is everybody does it in their own way. A lot of people in the program will kind of shit on you, as you know very well, if you don't kind of follow the steps. But I would go ahead and say that the steps aren't necessarily for everyone. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a journey. Everybody has a journey.
Rehab was so important for me.
Yes.
The 12 steps.
I don't know
not
about
for me.
those. I would agree with you. Yeah, I would agree with you.
I went to a meeting recently. I want to say like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
That's good. It's important to pop in every now and then. I mean, just if you can.
Yeah. And that didn't go well though. That didn't go well. I've been going through some personal shit in life that I'm not going to talk about here. But
fine.
I went to an AA meeting seeking words of wisdom, and they were very not cool.
Dude,
one guy
yeah.
accused me of like he was very like book thumpy about it.
Of course. Of
You know what I'm
course,
talking
man. A lot
about?
of people are weird. Oh, exactly. A lot of people are weird about it. That's one of the reasons why I was turned off to going to them at first, because it was just like I didn't feel very welcomed. I felt very kind of judged, and it's very not a lot of people will talk about this, but it's very gatekeepy in there. It's not as friendly as you might think. Now I'm not going to say there's no friendly people, because there are very nice people. But for the most part, man, I mean, there's a lot of judgment going on in there.
Yeah.
You know.
This thing that I've been going through in recent weeks makes me feel a sense of selfishness. And in my mind, I thought to rehab so many chapters in the book about how the alcoholic is selfish and all that shit. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to a meeting to talk about this because they can relate. But this one guy in this meeting used this as his big moment to like, the 12 steps saved my life. This is what separates the boys from the men. You think you're blah, blah, blah?
Did he say that in his,
asshole.
wait, did he say that in his time talking after you spoke? Was that how it happened?
Yeah, he just went in on me. He
That's
just
ridiculous.
attack.
Nobody stopped him? Nobody said anything?
That's
ridiculous.
This was a small meeting. This was a 10 p.m. Not a lot of people. There were probably like 6 people in there, including myself.
Okay.
But
oh, fuck that guy, honestly. Seriously.
yeah,
dude.
but it was really bad. Yeah, he just called me. Like I went in there and I stated, I know I'm being selfish, but he just went on and on like that's not selfish. That's inappropriate. You're a fucking asshole. Like kill yourself type energy. Like
everybody's journey is different, and that book is very outdated. I myself don't necessarily follow the steps. I think that the step that's most important, though, like if I could reflect on it, is the first step, which is understanding that you are powerless against your addiction. That is like one that you should keep in your mind in case you feel like doing something again, because you need to understand that you do have a problem. You're not normal, unfortunately, like every other person out there, or people who aren't necessarily alcoholics. So it's important to understand that you're not. You just to put it simply, you're not the normal person who could just drink like any other person. It's not the same for us as it is for them. So that's one step I like to keep in mind. I'm not going to disregard any other ones. I think I'm not going to knock the 12-step program either. If that works best for you, then by all means, do it your way. I don't think you should demonize somebody for not following the program, though. That's just how I see it. Do I think meetings are valuable? Sure. Do I attend them every single fucking day? No. I'll go in maybe. I haven't been to one in a few months. I've been sober for almost a year and a half, just like you. And I don't feel like I need to drink. I don't feel like I need to smoke. Sometimes I'll be stressed and I'll make a joke like, fuck, I need a drink. But would I actually take one? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? So, to each their own, I guess. But I would never, ever demonize somebody for not getting or staying sober the same way I would. A lot of that for them, I think, has to do with coping. I don't know. But I really hate hearing stories about people being unsupportive in that way, which is what turns a lot of people off from those types of meetings in the first place. So, if anything, he's just being harmful to the community. That's the way I see it.
No. Well, he was effective in ensuring that I would never return to that meeting, which is a shame because I really liked that meeting. That was the best time slot for me. It was the best location for me.
That's ridiculous, man. Fuck that guy. Yeah. Everybody has something to contribute in those meetings too. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. I mean, 9 times out of 10, when somebody speaks, you can relate to that person in some way, no matter who they are. It could be an ex-con, could be a lawyer, could be an ex-cop, could be a current police officer. It depends on what kind of meeting you're at. I mean, but yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous. But again, I congratulate you for being clean this long. That's an amazing thing. A beautiful thing.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
What's funny is that I was never really a drinker. I drank here and there, but that wasn't a big thing for me. It was fucking psychedelics and coke.
Really, that's a crazy. For me, it was just alcohol, dude. I love drinking Coors Light. That was my thing. I was just, and before I knew it, I was 240 pounds, and I was just what am I doing? I'm so unhealthy. I need to get my life together, because what's going to happen in 35, or what's going to happen when I'm 35? What's going to happen when I'm 40? You know what I mean? What is my life going to look like? If I continue to do what I'm doing. So it's we're not getting any younger. We have to make these changes now, or else. I'll be damned if I'm going to be remembered as some fucking alcoholic. You know what I mean? So that's just no. And personally, it was getting in the way of my my jiu-jitsu training. I was only going maybe once or twice a week. So it just gets in the way of real life, and it's important to understand when you probably have a problem. So yeah.
When I say I had a coke problem, I should probably let you know I used to have a fuck ton of crypto. I was very lucky in the crypto scene. It is all gone now. But once upon a time, I had racks on racks because of crypto. And
I also got lucky with crypto. I was one of those too, man.
Yeah. All gone. All up my nasal cavity.
I was lucky with crypto, and I got lucky with. I had a lot of Nokia options when the whole GameStop thing happened, and GameStop, the options, they rose to the top, but what else rose to follow suit was Nokia, and I just so happened to buy a shit ton. I just so happened to have bought a shit ton of Nokia calls, so I woke up to my returns being, I think I had a 5,000% return rate on my investment. Yeah, so I was holy shit. You know what I mean? I was just, I mean, you should have seen me. You know what I mean? So yeah, I went a little crazy too. Shout out to Reddit. Shout out to the apes on Reddit. To my apes out there, because it was a crazy time, dude. People made a lot of money.
Yeah, my big win was Dogecoin.
Was it? Yeah, a lot of Dogecoiners out there too. I wasn't really that big into crypto, honestly. I was kind of a little bitch when it came to crypto.
Well, with crypto, the thing that people don't really understand about crypto is that it's 100% luck based. There is no way to learn how to do crypto well enough to actually profit. That's my belief anyway.
Right.
It is entirely, I got lucky. I'm not giving myself credit for doing something the right way. It was completely, yeah, and cocaine.
Cocaine's
Is
awesome.
what happened. Yep.
It was cool. I mean, I don't do it anymore, but
Gambling also. And I wasn't even a good gambler. I didn't even play cards or anything. I was a slots guy.
Oh really? Did you go to Vegas? Did you really
there was a casino that I frequented in my area, and cocaine and ketamine together. When you sit down at a slot machine, and I'm not even talking like the old school ones, I'm talking like the newer, large HD, like have animations over it and shit. Like,
Uh-huh.
I was on top of the world at that point, so in my mind, it was like fuck you money. Like being coked out at 4 a.m. in a K hole, just doing a fucking slot machine, and of course that didn't that wasn't sustainable.
I mean, that's like a high on top of high on top of high. You got the high of doing the slot, and you're on coke.
Oh yeah,
Then you got the K hole. That's like, you know, I mean, you had to feel like a god doing that.
yeah. I don't know if you've ever been to a casino at 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. because those places are 24/7. They never
Yeah, they are.
close. And you can't tell what time it is when you're inside unless you look at your phone because there are no clocks, there are no windows.
Very much intentional, I would guess.
I think there was a part in the Percy Jackson story where they go to a casino.
It's the Lightning Thief series, right? Rick
Yeah.
Riordan? Okay, yeah.
I couldn't tell you which part it is, but it's that the sirens. I don't know if they're the sirens, but you know, funny enough, my English teacher, the one that ended up being my sponsor, I remember in high school he did a whole bit about the Odyssey, Homer's The
Mhm.
Odyssey. And I often think about that and the way everything worked out with him and I, the way life occurred. Because my buddy that died, he was in our class also. You know, we were in class in his class.
Wow.
So life is weird.
It is
Life
weird.
is weird.
You know, like a lot of fucked up things have happened in my life, you know, centered around the drinking, and I'm sure the same has happened in your life too. But you know what? I think that those things are so appropriate. Like it's, I wouldn't want to like take it back. I wouldn't want to do anything different because those things definitely like made me the person I am today. And I think without those lessons, you know, I wouldn't have been able to really learn anything. You know, so it took a lot of failing to be successful in where I am today, just like you. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't take it back for anything. You know, I think it was totally necessary. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm happy that you're good. I'm happy that we met. I'm happy that you're here. It was cool to, you know, when we first started talking, I thought it was so cool that when you told me that you were also sober, I was like, that's awesome. You know, it's cool meeting somebody that, you know, is also sober, and that's just great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I apologize if my views on the 12 steps were
No,
not
I
offensive,
feel the
but
same
you know,
way.
turn off.
I feel the same way, dude. I'm with you on that one, man.
Yeah.
You know, they're not for everybody. I mean, they work for somebody. You know, there's some that are useful to me, and that's just how it is, man. You know.
Yeah. I remember in rehab it was mandatory that we at least get to step 5
Mandatory,
or 6.
really?
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh yeah. We
insane.
had yeah.
What?
It was the inventory where we were taking.
Are you sure? I've never heard of that. They like try to force you to get a sponsor. What is this? Was it like
Yeah.
a closed meeting or was it an open meeting? What kind of meeting was it?
No,
Was
rehab,
it open
dude.
to the public? Oh, it was,
There
this was actually in rehab.
Yes.
Okay, I've never actually been to a rehabilitation program. I think for my experience with it was I just went to a meeting on my own free will. I didn't actually go through a legitimate rehab program. I just walked into a meeting that was publicly available through the AA website, which you can basically go on the website. I'm sure you're familiar with it. You can just go on the
Yeah.
website and just find any meeting that's in your county or
Yeah.
whatever.
I
So I
used
didn't
to.
really.
I had been to meetings before going to rehab. I think it was because my parents thought I smoked too much weed or something, and they wanted me to do like a outpatient thing.
Okay.
It was silly because they thought I was smoking too much weed. They didn't know what I was getting up to.
Yeah.
But they were onto something. Yeah. But it wasn't until the teacher thing happened where I took the initiative to go into rehab. And I remember I was in there for 42 days because I remember Jimmy was on fish tank for 42 days, and that was the exact length I was in rehab for.
Oh wow.
Month and a half. Well, not that Jimmy was on fish tank for 42 days. That's the length of fish tank is how I remembered that. Yeah. And rehab was cool. And by cool I mean awful. But rehab I was so regretful for the first few years. Well, it's only been a year and a half, but like for the first few months, I thought going to rehab was the worst possible decision I could have made because before going, I had my own apartment. I had my own thing going on, but because I went to rehab, I had to move into sober living.
Mhm.
You know, my parents found out, complete trust shattered. You know, basically everything was reset to square one because I went to rehab. But it worked out though. At least so far.
Of course,
Anyway.
and that's what it's for, honestly. And I think that's the best thing that you could have done in your whole life. You're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, this is what saved me, you know. Because for a lot of us, it's fucking life or death, dude. You know,
Yeah.
literally. So
It had to be life and death of somebody else for me to be like, oh shit. It was my
Yeah.
teacher's life that shook me enough to like realize, like, because my life to me is expendable. I at least at the time, you know, I didn't give a fuck about anything. But it was that experience that was a hard stop. You know.
that's really all it takes, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about? Because other than that, I think we could just wrap it up right here. I think that was a solid session, honestly.
Was it good?
Yeah,
This was good.
yeah, dude, it's phenomenal. We're at 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think that's a really good session. I think we covered just about
Cool.
everything.
Well, thank you for talking with me. I hope it was interesting.
Absolutely. Again, I want to plug your YouTube. Again, you're Ricky Do 85 on everything.
Yeah. Should I talk about the fish tank video briefly? Because I do
Yeah,
want
go
to
ahead,
talk
go
about
ahead.
that momentarily.
Of course.
I made a
Okay.
fish tank video. It was an hour long, longest video I've made so far about Fish Tank, the show. And because of Jimmy, I was able to talk to all these other people, and the more people I would talk to, the more people that would be interested in talking to me. And that's how I got added to Fag C, is because of that video. And I'm very grateful that it did so well.
Who added you to Fish Tank Alternative group chat?
This guy Parsi added me to Fag C.
Shout out to Parsi.
Shout out Parsi.
Shout out to Parsi.
Yeah, he's a really cool
Yeah,
guy. He has a
America.
lot of sex.
Yeah. Parsi, I did say this at the very beginning of the interview, but I'll say it again. Yeah, Parsi messaged me. I think I was over in the Reef or some other fish tank adjacent server, and
Yeah, we were in the you were in the Reef server with Kale. Then I went in and I said, "Hey, I like your video." And then you I sent you a message, then you sent me a friend request.
Yeah, shout out to
Yeah.
Parsi.
You
Shout
should
out to...
hop-
Wait, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Parsi.
And then fucking Ricky said what VCs are good, and like because no one was in VC at the time anywhere. I was like, oh, well, this is where I usually hang out. And then he joined VC, and like he had like a mind fuck.
dude, I was so scared. I was so scared when you added me. I was like, I was too scared to leave.
I remember
was
how
fucking
scared
with you a little bit too.
Bro,
It was
I
the-
wanted to
it was the
leave, but
education
at that point, I wanted to leave, but I was like, shit, they already know me, If I left, they already know
I
I,
think
was here.
someone was like
You had
saying
to, like,
your
reassure him a lot.
YouTube channel and shit, and like you were like, "Am I gonna get doxxed?"
Yeah, I was like, no, because you're fine. I promise.
Yeah, and all that Pizzagate shit that we were talking about earlier, like all of that came back full front because of that video that was showing when I first got added to Fag C. I was like, oh fuck, is this some devil shit? I think that's something I kept asking Parsi.
Well,
Is this some fucking
it might
Satan
be.
shit?
It might be. I don't know.
You have to ask
Oh.
Proton. He handles that division.
Yeah, a guy named Proton Shill. I mean,
He's a
No.
neo-Nazi
Yeah.
occultist. I wouldn't trust him if I were
No.
you.
No, but yeah, this is like this.
Can you
This
say,
is cool.
Ricky? Can you say "fuck you, Clinton"?
Is there a person named Clinton in here that it would be sent to?
He's not. Yeah, something like that. It's like my favorite thing to say all the time.
Fuck you,
You don't
Clinton.
have to if you don't want to. Wait, say it again. I interrupted you.
Okay. Fuck you, Clinton.
Yeah.
Love you. Thank you.
Is that good?
Yes. Okay.
Is that
hold
going to
on.
be used against me?
I just want to. No, definitely will not. I just want to give some shout outs though, real quick. Shout out to Parsi for getting you in the server. Shout out to RickyDo85, RickyDo85 on YouTube. I'm Slacker Blue. Shout out to Jaded Bunny, the producer of this. He's the one who's bringing up this stuff. Jaded Bunny is technically our Jamie Gerard. I think that's his name. Is that his name? I forget his last name. Jamie something. So yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to the BFF server. Shout out to Faxi. Shout out to Faxi. This is a great first kind of official studio session, so I think it went pretty well. And yeah, I guess we'll end it right there. Thank you everybody for listening.